had the most beautiful dream. It was the perfect day. And all I could think about was how much I wanted to cut you all open and then climb inside your bodies so that we could stay one happy family.
Welcome back, Deadites and Ghost Beaters. If you're new to the channel, I am Old Head Gaming, and of course, there's one thing right now that is the epicenter of the Evil Dead universe, and of course, we're all talking about Evil Dead Rise. I don't care if you're a fan of the movies, the comic book, the TV show, of course, the video game. We have all been talking about Evil Dead Rise for quite a while now, about a year, as it was going to be coming exclusively to HBO Max back in October, and it had been that way for a while, and then they screened it, and Bruce said how great it was doing, and then they're like, halt the presses, it's going to the theaters in April, and of course now we know it's coming April 21st for sure, as a red and green band trailer dropped yesterday. And of course, we did the live reaction to the red band because the video is going to be much more in line with what you see in the actual theater, as it's going to be a pretty graphic 2013-esque, not a slapstick Ash-esque version of Evil Dead, as we see the third book and what it can do to, of course, our new star Ellie, the demon, of course, and her counterpart Beth, her sister, who's going to be the heroine trying to protect the three children. And there's a lot of cool stuff that's coming, and I think it really sets up for a wonderful, wonderful addition to the Evil Dead universe. And I'm excited to see what we're going to get. But I think one of the things we have to talk about is how does Evil Dead Rise affect Evil Dead the game? As a game we spend a lot of time with, we have to look at, especially with the start of Season Pass 2, we already know Ash vs. Evil Dead is kicking off Season Pass 2. And I'm sure we'll probably actually see some more stuff throughout the week as we build towards the actual drop of the new Season Pass, probably near the beginning of February. Now, I'll admit, I have been a little critical of Season Pass 1. We have to look back at that, and I think a lot of people were, because they felt like they didn't get what they expected. And I think most people expected more characters out of Season Pass 1, and I think from the rumors I have heard, there's a reason that kind of had to be shifted, and I don't know if it's entirely on Saber's fault as much as it was on Warner Brother Discovery. Now, for what I assume is there was going to be a cross-promotion, Bruce has already alluded to this, between Evil Dead Rise, and of course, and Evil Dead the game. And when that got pushed out of that October window, I feel like that's when things started going in weird directions. At that point, they moved up what was probably going to be a later drop for Evil Dead 2013, which is probably why Abomination wasn't ready. And then, of course, we got the Blacksmith to wrap it up. And I feel like that 2013 update was supposed to be later, and they just didn't have time, and it just led to them getting it out, or they got David and Mia Allen out, and, you know, we got what we got. And I feel now that things have lined up, the stars seem to be much better positioned, Season Pass 2 looks to be much more in better shape, and probably won't be as affected by these kind of time conflicts. Now, of course, we obviously know Evil Dead Rise is dropping on April 21st, and I feel like if we get our first content, the Ash vs. Evil Dead content, right around the beginning of February, second week of February, that puts them back on their normal Season Pass pattern of about every 2 months-ish, right in that window. Now, that would make complete sense that in April then, because the movie comes out the 21st, whether it's that week or it's the following week, you drop Season Pass 2 Part 2, Evil Dead Rise. And I think it's only going to come with one character as a survivor and one as a demon. I think you get Beth as a survivor. We'll show a quick clip here with a chainsaw. Makes perfect sense.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know how to lie to kids.
And then, of course, the star of pretty much the trailer is Ellie as the Deadite.
Mom?
Mommy's with the maggots now.
And as you can see, the two sisters going back and forth, one representing the chosen one good side, one representing the Deadite side, as we always kind of tend to see between the families now. We have a perfect opportunity for this to drop. Now, will we see other types of weapons? Who knows? Will we see other things that come with it? What would this even look like? It's hard to say. Like, a lot of times right now, it's hard to make projections what perks would even look like, what demon powers would even look like. Yes, we see the ceiling crawling. We see the echo sound from Ellie. We see her chewing glass. We see a lot of cool things, but how that would translate to the game, I don't know. And that would be something that would have to be Saber's been probably working on this DLC probably longer than most, to be quite honest, because I feel like this was one of those cross promotions that was supposed to really bank into it. Because when you think about it this financially, Sabers chose a very archaic, slow drip type of process for getting money in. The no store, the no weekly drops of skins. It's just basically the season pass, or you choose to shop just a la carte, where if you want to get the Ash versus Evil Dead DLC, or you get the Evil Dead Rise DLC, because those are what you want for your collection for your game, those are your choices. But at least the very small parts. And so stuff like putting the game on Epic Games for free, where they got that payment, maybe even putting it on Xbox Game Pass, where we get that payment, and of course the cross promotion between Warner Brothers Discovery as putting this out and kind of upping the movie a little bit, I'm sure would be a nice kickback for Saber as a company. And it makes just too much sense that a game that focuses around the Evil Dead universe, we've already know they're going outside the Ash stuff, because you do have Evil Dead 2013 already. Evil Dead Rise is just too much of a slam dunk, and it makes too much sense. And I've heard things that, this is just what was going to happen. And of course, now it's here. It's not going to get pushed back again. We're going to see it April 21st. And I think we're going to definitely get those two characters. We'll get Beth as a survivor, probably Warrior, but it's too hard to say at this point because we don't really see everything other than, she clearly uses a chainsaw, which leads me to believe she could end up in the Warrior side, but how she handles the family, she could be a leader. There's a lot of stuff that could go into that. Ellie obviously be the demon from that part of the DLC. I mean, we see some cool stuff like a different Necronomicon, which I think is interesting. We could see maybe the 3 different Necronomicons get added to the game. I think that would be an interesting component. We do see the fact that they use a cheese grater, which would be a really badass melee weapon. There's a lot of stuff going on, I think, that could really make this DLC very fun, very dark, and very graphic, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm fine with them leaning into what the Evil Dead universe is. And I know some people were talking inside the comments of how they missed that slapstick shtick that Bruce brought to the Evil Dead franchise, but let's be honest, Bruce isn't doing it anymore, and he doesn't want to, and that's okay. Like, the dude is at the point where he's paid his dues. He's sacrificed his body enough. If he just wants to be the voice of Ashley, that's fine, and that's exactly what we get. We can get those characters like Beth and Ellie crossing over with Ash in Evil Dead the game. Tell me what you think. Do you think it's coming? I'm going to say 99.9%. What do you think? Do you think we'll see new weapons? Do you think we'll see a new map? Because here's the thing we didn't talk about. This is a very unique setting that never have done in the Evil Dead franchise. It is a high-rise apartment building in San Francisco. And we have a completely different setting, a completely different state, a completely urban environment. Like, this is the map that I want to be added to the game. Like, this is so cool. Especially if you could go up and down, like it was more of a vertical map, it would be so cool. But of course you have to have a little more than just one building otherwise, because it would be a real big problem to get away from Ellie if she was only able to just go straight down in there and find you. Do you think there's big plans coming for Evil Dead Rise and Season Pass 2? I want to hear your thoughts below. Demons, survivors. Obviously, we only know so much, so it's going to be kind of limited. But as always, thanks for watching, and later, mates.